So there's one room in my house that's just consistently hotter than the rest of the rooms in my house, and I don't really know why, but what I do know is that it makes me run my AC bill even higher, even though the rest of the house is cool, just because I'm trying to cool down one room. And of course, I have ceiling fans, I have tower fans for around the room, and I've even considered getting a portable AC unit, but before I did that, I wanted to test this out, which is DREO's air circulator fan. This thing is really capable, super powerful, and my favorite thing about it is the fact that it can circulate the air in the room. Rather than it blowing in just one direction, maybe tilting back and forth, it can actually do a full 120 degrees of motion, both up and down and left and right. So it can basically do a little figure-8 pattern and actually move air around your room instead of just blowing it in one direction. And man, let me tell you, after testing this thing out, it's become a very important part of my room because it's helped in cooling it down a lot quicker and just having better airflow in here all around. One of the nice features that I didn't expect going into it at all, because it's a fan, is the fact that it has built-in LEDs. Now this is something of course that isn't necessary, it doesn't change the functionality of the fan at all, but again, if you're into the smart home ecosystem stuff, more than likely you probably like RGB lights. I know that I do, I have some here on my speakers on my desk and just kind of built in all around the house. So the fact that this has built-in LED lights on the back of it is really cool, and it just adds even more to the ambiance of a room in a way that you wouldn't be able to with a separate LED light strip. Unboxing and setting up the fan was actually super simple. You basically just have to attach the main body of the fan to the base. The base is where all of the weight is because the main part of the fan is actually super lightweight, but of course that does help it not tilt or fall over in any way. And then it's literally just as simple as plugging it in to get it to work. There are some very simple ways to control it. Of course you have the panel on the front of the fan where it just has these touch sensitive controls, and that'll give you all of the functionality that it has. You can turn it on and off, turn the light on and off, cycle through RGB colors, and you can actually use it to adjust how far you want the fan to go, up or down, left and right, or if you want it to just cycle in one direction and not go up and down, for example. You can do all of those things via the touch sensitive controls. And of course you would expect it to come with a remote, right? So it absolutely does. It actually has a nice little clip-on attachment, so you can clip the remote to the fan, which I really like. I have some other DREO tower fans that have a remote, but I never ended up knowing where to put it. So the fact that you can clip this directly to the fan is a really big plus. And of course you have all of the functions on the remote as well, which makes it super simple. But of course it's 2025, right? So there's an even easier way to control this fan without even having to get up off of the couch. If you're someone like me who loves to have a smart home and just wants to be able to control things without having to get up and find a remote, this is actually a smart fan too. All you have to do is download the DREO app, press the little plus symbol at the top, it'll automatically detect the fan once you plug it in, and then you add it to your app. Now within the app, there's even more in-depth controls, which I actually found really cool. Firstly, of course, you can turn it on or off, you can adjust how fast you want the fan to blow, and you can fine-tune the RGB colors on the fan even more than you would be able to with the remote. But within the app, there's even better options. If you want to put this fan on a timer or on a schedule, you can basically have it turn on or off at certain times of day automatically, and just basically schedule it so it does it all week long without you having to put any input in. So if you know you're going to be out of the house for work, you just set it to turn on at 6 p.m. when you're home and it'll do it for you. Now I've made videos on DREO products before. I have their tower fans, I have their smart humidifier, and now I have their air circulator fan. And I've always been really impressed by the quality of the DREO app. It was just really well put together, it's super user-friendly and very easy to use, and just a really sleek app. So I wanted to give them points for that. And part of the app that was actually really impressive to me that I wasn't expecting at all is you can actually control how far the fan tilts side to side or up or down to the degree. So like I said, it has 3D oscillation, meaning it can go 120 degrees left and right and 120 degrees up or down. But what makes it different from a normal oscillating fan is that you can actually set it to go a certain amount of degrees and not go the full 120 degrees. So if you have the fan in the corner, for example, and you only want it to blow in one specific area, you can set it to blow maybe 90 degrees back and forth instead of going the full 120. And this is something that I really love because it just lets you fine-tune how the fan is blowing, so you can really tweak it to fit your space and wherever it's sitting in that room. If there's anything that'll be blocking it in a certain area, or if you don't want it to go all the way up, but you want it to go up and down a little bit, you can completely fine-tune it, which is really cool. I did also want to mention that this fan is very quiet. It actually goes down to as low as 20 decibels. So you can basically barely hear it if you have it on the lower settings, which in my case is really important because we sleep on the bed behind me and I don't want a super loud fan going off all night. But this thing, again, with how quiet it is, we can have it blowing pretty decent without even affecting our quality of sleep. And it has 9 different wind speeds too. And this is something that DREO calls turbo wind. They've actually done some tests on it, and they found that the wind blown at the top level of this fan can actually reach 90 feet away. So again, super impressive. If you're looking for something that can really circulate air, this is going to be the best fan for it. And in addition to the 9 wind speeds, you do also have 6 different wind modes. So there's one that's like a natural airflow, there's a consistent, there's a sleep mode, and all sorts of other things like that, which is again just another way to customize how it blows. Now, touching a little bit more on the smart home ecosystem, like I said, you can always control this via the DREO app, which is my preferred way to use it. I've actually kind of moved away from using some of the major smart home products like Alexa or Google Home. Of course, if that's something that you have, this does have built-in integrations in the DREO app, so you can easily toggle it or adjust it using Alexa or your Google Home device. Honestly, when DREO reached out to me to review this fan, I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to do it because, like I said, I already have tower fans from DREO, and I've been using them for multiple years now. They work great for me, and since I use them so consistently, I didn't know whether or not I really needed another fan. But after talking to them a little bit and figuring out maybe this would be able to help me with the airflow issue I have in my main bedroom because it gets so hot. So I told them maybe I'd want to review one of their AC units. However, what they told me is that this has such good airflow that it might actually be able to help me with the hot bedroom issue and not even necessarily need an AC unit, which would be even more expensive. So they ended up sending me this fan, and I've been absolutely impressed by it. It's definitely something I'm going to be leaving out here in the room just because it's helped so much, and it honestly impressed me a lot more than I thought it would. So in conclusion, if you're in a situation like me where you have a hotter room in your house, or you're just looking for a way to cool down your space without having to invest in something like an AC unit that's a lot more bulky, this fan has worked perfectly for me. It really did solve the issue of the room being hotter. And again, with all the smart functionality, it's just another great addition to the smart home. So make sure to check this out if you're interested in getting one. I will have the links below. And thank you very much to DREO for sponsoring the video. I'll see you in the next one.